Well, the only difference now versus COVID, where everybody pulled their guidance, they pulled actually their forecast too. They haven't pulled their forecast. They came out with great earnings, the majority above the long-term trend in terms of the first quarter. What we looked at is 2026 numbers relative to 2025 numbers, and we saw what we like to call this earnings revision low, meaning everyone dropped their numbers at once. So I think that at the end of the day, earnings are kind of tracking high single-digit, low double-digit increases for the S&P 500. We think small cap and mid cap could potentially do a little bit better, Paul. But I think this uncertainty with respect to what has occurred the first 6 months of the year, 5 months of the year, with respect to the tariffs, is starting to unwind, and you'll start to see more kind of consistent earnings. But again, I think earnings are set up to be under promise and over deliver, that's the kind of period that you want to be in.
So, I mean, I'm trying to figure out, I'm reading all the Bloomberg stuff I can, where we are on tariffs. I know we're higher. I don't know how much higher, but I know we're higher. So that's got to impact earnings, margins, that kind of stuff. Is that reflected in the stocks, do you think?
I think the one thing that people don't know is who's going to take on the cost. Is it going to come out of margins? Is it going to be the consumer or the producer? I think so many people rush to judgments, Paul, that it was going to be the consumer. But what we're seeing is we're seeing that the consumer discretionary sector, I think from a bottoming perspective, looks very well in terms of earnings. That's exactly when you want to buy them.
Quickly here, the revenue persistency of Mag 7. I mean, even if it's high single digit, which is pretty gloomy, but if they sum up to a high single digit revenue persistency, that's constructive, right?
Yeah, two things, actually three. Following me is one of the greatest stock pickers I've ever met, Nancy Tangler. I'm a great friend of mine, and I think we're entering into this period of stock picking, and it means matter, and you need to have a lot of experience doing that, number one. Number two, I've said this for a long time now, for at least 10 plus years, that the Mag 7 or the big cap tech stocks are the new consumer staples. If you go back to the 90s, we went to liquidity and where there was consistency, and maybe their business models are changing a little bit. We're going to see that in Google clearly, but I think the consistency of the revenue growth going forward and the liquidity that it offers investors, that's why you have to own some of these names.